The big challenges in knowing about social acceptance of CCU is that at the moment we know very little about it. That's due to the fact that CCU technologies are a bit of a niche technology, which means that in the general public up to now, there hasn't been a really big debate about them. So very few people are actually informed about what CCU is. And therefore, it's obviously difficult to find out what kind of objections they may have. But we have scientific studies which point to barriers and to factors which might be positive for acceptance issues. So usually they focus on specific products, but they also tell us a few things which can be generalized. For example, CCU is an industry issue, and therefore trust is a very big indicator, which is of importance for assessing perception issues. Like the industry, especially towards the chemical industry, there's not so much trust in the public, and this might also be reflected on CCU technologies. So for the acceptance of CCU, it's quite important to look at things which may be confused with CO2 utilization, which is in the first place, it's CCS, carbon capture and storage, where emissions are taken from the industry and stored underground permanently. There are many differences between CCU and CCS, apart from the capture phase, where there's the biggest parallel. CCS aims at storing carbon dioxide underground and taking it out of the atmosphere, but CCU has a completely different approach. CCU aims to replace carbon in industrial processes and replace the fossil resources that we would usually use. So even if we have these parallels in the capture phase, the intention is very much different. And also the actors are different, which are active in CCS and CCU, because CCU is about processes and not so much about storing something away. It's about circular economy, and it's about contributing to broadening the raw material base that we have for the products that we need. And this is a whole different approach. In acceptance, generally, economic issues will play an important role because the products, in the end, most of them don't differ from the regular product, because CO2 technologies don't introduce totally new products, but they change production processes. And this is for the customer, the product may be 100% identical, but it may be more expensive. And this may also cause a few problems for acceptance. The public acceptance of CCU will be very important with the advancement of the technologies, but at the state we're currently in, also the policy acceptance is of great importance. And I think the main issues for policy acceptance is there's three issues, I think, and the first one is like the compliance with broader policy goals, which needs to be addressed by the community. The second is the proven contribution to sustainability goals, which means usually emission reduction in the first place, but also CCU technologies have also other advantages which can be important for political agendas, like independence of imports of raw materials, and other environmental factors which are not emissions in the first place, but it's also about land use, there's a whole range of aspects which are assessed in life cycle assessments, which are important for policy acceptance. And the third one is doubts about priorities. So also this needs to be addressed by scientists and by advocates in general for CCU technologies, that CCU technologies and their advancement doesn't interfere with other priorities. At the moment, we are more or less on the way. We don't have a public debate yet. We might get there at some point, but at the moment, acceptance issues are usually managed between stakeholders and policymakers. So these are the people or the groups of people where we need acceptance at the moment.